The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Drivers and Danica, start your engines!
Pull those belts down tight. One more time. Warm up those tires. Hit your marks. And let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, NHRA, and local dirt track and drag strip racing talk. This is the Championship Racing Network.
Where'd you go? Where's your home? How'd you end up all alone? Can you hear me now? Hear me now.
Now, here's Steve West, Dustin Harmer, and Matt Nicholson with producer John Myers.
All right, 75% of us are here. But that's just fine and dandy. We're going to make it work right here on the Championship Racing Network. I'm Steve West, in studio with Dustin Harmer. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you very much.
It's Saturday.
Plenty to get to here as we get into this Championship Racing Network show. But first things first, we need to introduce our resident driver, Matt Nicholson.
Hello, hello.
How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
Good
Hanging
deal.
in there.
Absolutely. John Myers, Nikki DeMond, unable to be with us this time, but we'll be remedying that soon.
One of these days, we'll have everybody in studio.
Yes. Speaking of in studio, got a guest coming up here in hour number 2 on the show. I'll let you take that.
That's right. Janice, the branch manager at Renaissance Bank in Childersburg, is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking all about the Pinkoween Chili Cook-Off for breast cancer awareness. We were talking about it in the pre-show. We're going to be talking all about that. We're going to be tossing out all the names of all the great folks, all the businesses, and everybody that's coming together because the support for this event has been absolutely out of this world.
And we're 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Less than, actually.
Don't let them hear it because Nikki and Janice are already going nuts as it is.
No.
Yeah.
From everything that I'm hearing, I haven't been able to be involved 100%, obviously, but from everything that I'm hearing, this thing sounds like it's going to be shaping up to be a fantastic event.
It is. It's going to be one heck of an event. We're going to have so many great things. Raffles out the wazoo. And, of course, letting you all know now, we'll give you a little precursor to this. Ticket sales start tomorrow for the raffles. So it's going to be $2 a ticket. Or
that's cheap.
Or this one will make you kind of think for a second. Or you can get 15 tickets for $10.
Nice.
So there's
throw a $10 bill out there, and you can bring your family and your extended family.
Yeah.
And even some friends, probably.
Well, yeah. And the raffle tickets, of course, you can get tons of them.
That.
I mean, if you can't win something, you got a problem because
there are that many, on you, man.
There are that many raffles, and we're going to talk about all the great businesses that have put out gift cards and everything else. We've also got a lot of stuff coming down from up north that Nikki's bringing down. She's got extra luggage to bring all that extra stuff. So we've got all that. We're going to be talking to her. She's going to be joining us either at the 12:40 hour time or 12:20, one of the times, Central Time, that is. So 1:20, 1:40 Eastern Time. Because we got a lot of people listening.
Let's just say hour 2.
Hour 2.
There you go.
Second hour. Yeah.
But that just doesn't sound as fun.
You're trying to give an exact time?
Yeah, I was trying to be very specific, Steve.
Hour 2, 20 past.
Yeah, there you go.
How's that?
Wow, you cleared that up real fast, didn't
official.
he?
I've only been doing this for 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's get into it. Last weekend, playoffs finally began in the lower 2 series of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, and the man who had been the class of the Camping World Truck Series throughout the regular season began the playoffs by showing exactly why he'd been the class of the regular season. Got him 4 wins leading up to the playoffs. That's when Christopher Bell came into last Saturday's race as the top seed, and 15 laps to go, and New Hampshire Motor Speedway was able to get around Ryan Truex and just put it on cruise control and rolled on to the win. Truex, also in a Toyota, said this about trying to catch Bell after Bell had rolled around him, said, quote, "I was driving my truck for everything it was worth." That just about says everything you need to know about what Christopher Bell was looking like.
That's what you call a here's your sign moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so he was ready and rolling. Bell, Truex first and second. Todd Gilliland, Alabama's own Grant Enfinger with another top 5, 4th place. Stuart Friesen, 5th. Matt Crafton, Ben Rhodes, Austin Cindric, Johnny Sauter, Growler round out your top 10. Then we got the notation that the drivers finishing in 6th through 11th place, all of them playoff contenders. 11th place went to Chase Briscoe. The other playoff contender, the one that we hadn't named, had a very bad day. Came home 20th. John Hunter Nemechek. So he's a little bit behind the 8-ball right now.
Just a touch.
Christopher Bell holding a 40-point lead over Johnny Sauter, but of course he's locked into the second round anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Drivers currently on the hot seat when it comes to getting to round 2, Chase Briscoe, and as we just mentioned, John Hunter Nemechek, 7th and 8th places respectively, and needing help. But they're not the only ones.
They're not the only ones. And we talked about it last week on the show, and that's the thing about this playoff scenario now is before you could have a mulligan, we talk about it all the time, you could have a mess up. You pretty much have got to be perfect. You can have a little bit of a hiccup, but you can't have anything major. And that's why when we talk about especially the Monster Energy Cup Series is the fact of Talladega looming large. That will make or break your entire playoff run.
We talked, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We talked about the 2011 run. It was last week because we were talking about the Darian Grubb. And you think about that title run that Tony Stewart had where he won 5 races over the course of 10 races for the chase, to claim the championship. Back then, though, they didn't have the elimination every third race.
Right.
So you could have a bad race, and Tony had one I know of during that time, but because he won 5 races in that span, he was able to come out of there. He would have, in this scenario, gone all the way to the end, and he would have won it, considering winning all those races. But again, unless you win a race, you can't have a bad one.
You can't, and that's the thing. You can go in and you can have 2 great races, and that last race before the cutoff can be the one that does you in. All that work that you did is now out the window because you had one bad race. And it doesn't just take the driver itself. It's all other drivers around you as well.
Which we're going to get to when we talk about the Monster Energy Cup Series.
There's zero room for error.
There really is.
Zero room.
There really is. There really is.
Saturday night, Kentucky Speedway, Xfinity Series. An outsider came in, pulled off the upset. It was thankfully short of moonlighters. Xfinity drivers and playoff contenders were able to battle it out for themselves. About midway through the race, it appeared Cole Custer might be zeroing in on his first career win in the series, but that 00 Ford Mustang just couldn't hold up. Tyler Reddick was able to take over the front, led the final 39 laps, claimed an overwhelming 14.5-second win.
Yeah, I watched this race start to finish. Cole Custer got caught sleeping on that restart.
You think?
He got caught sleeping.
Yeah, and it benefited one Tyler Reddick.
Tyler Reddick
Big time.
Tyler Reddick said, see ya.
It's like the tortoise and the hare.
Oh, it really was.
Pretty much.
Brendan Poole ended up being in second place. Tyler Reddick hadn't even had so much as led a lap in the prior 14 Xfinity Series races he'd run in. The remaining top 10 finishers coming down after Brendan Poole, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Preece, then Cole Custer, Elliott Sadler, Daniel Hemrick, Brian Scott, Matt Tifft, Ryan Reed round out your top 10. Updated playoffs without anyone guaranteed to move on to round 2 just yet. You got Cole Custer and Justin Allgaier in there. Drivers on the hot seat after race number 1, Blake Cook, Michael Annett, Jeremy Clements. So there's your hot seat drivers right there. 3 of them in that particular case.
All guys.
And that's going to be coming down here soon as well.
Yes, it is.
So be prepared, guys.
Yep.
This weekend is the telling one when it comes to the Monster Energy Cup Series. We'll get back to that in just a second. Let's go back to when they were at New Hampshire Motor Speedway on Sunday last week. ESPN.com seems to think that they finally realized what we've pretty much known all along. 3 things.
Okay.
Being Martin Truex Jr. or Kyle Busch is a good thing. Barring being either one of those two, driving a Toyota is a major hand up. And third, that the unexpected can take place at any time, which is something that 2 Stewart-Haas racing drivers that are vying for the title know very well.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Busch claimed the pole, but fell back in the first parts of the race, was lucky enough to avoid a crash that took place 1 lap before the halfway point. Kyle Busch was able to gather the 18 up following that, rolled on to the win, guaranteed his ticket to round 2. The crash that we were talking about took place on lap 149. That's when Austin Dillon got into the 4 of Kevin Harvick, sent Harvick spinning into a plume of tire smoke. Well, tire smoke, our resident driver would know about this, effectively blocks the vision of any driver behind him.
Yep.
Especially on a short track like New Hampshire. I understand it's like a mile long, but still, it's a relatively short track.
Short track in my book.
Among the drivers taken out, Kurt Busch, the other Stewart-Haas Racing Championship contender that we were talking about, who following the playoff opening race at Chicagoland was already on the hot seat. He gets involved in that. Also involved Casey Kane, who had been able to continue past the crash but didn't finish the race due to lingering damage from the wreck. So it was a mess, basically, and it puts the Stewart-Haas Racing guys in a weird position and puts my championship bracket in a very precarious position as well.
Mine's still alive.
Mine's good.
To a degree, mine's still alive.
Mine's alive, but it's like on life support.
Mine's good.
Following Kyle Busch in the top 10, Kyle Larson, then Matt Kenseth, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Eric Jones, Clint Boyer, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney, and Joey Logano rounding out the top 10. Martin Truex Jr. continues to lead the way in points. He, Kyle Busch, are automatically moving on to round number 2. As for the 4 drivers that are in the hot seat now, they are Austin Dillon, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, and Casey Kane. How bad is it for Casey Kane, who's 16th out of the 16? He's 30 points behind 12th place, which is held by Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Do or die.
And the worst part about that whole scenario for those guys is the fact of where they are this weekend.
Yeah.
Because Dover's not pretty, and it ain't nice.
Unforgiving.
Miles is going to chew somebody up this weekend, and playoff dreams will be gone.
Yep. We'll detail all of that in a minute, but first, got to get to the NHRA. They got their things going on Sunday afternoon, the finals of the Dodge NHRA Nationals, Maple Grove Raceway in Pennsylvania. Hey, Brittany Force coming out swinging. Look at that. First round on the road to the championship. Got the top fuel win over Steve Torrance. Gunned a ride to a 3.756 ET at 326.24 miles per hour. So good job by Brittany, already out there claiming a win and saying, hey, listen, I'm going to be someone to contend with.
Yeah, she had a great run. I mean, outstanding run.
Yep.
She had a little
and she
bit.
needed it, too, because Steve Torrance was on it.
He was, and that's the thing. When you got Steve Torrance lined up against you, it's already a little bit of pressure cooker as it is. She had a slight little wiggle, but, man, she kept that thing on a rail. That was great. Great job.
Sister Courtney Force tried to equal her sister, but came up just short. She made it to the Funny Car final round, but ended up losing to Ron Capps. Capps pulled the whole shot win, got off the line 2/100ths of a second faster. Capps pulled a 3.968 ET, 326.48 miles per hour, leading Force at the finish line by 25 thousandths of a second.
And of course, you're going to continue going on, but Maple Grove this past weekend was some amazing action.
It was.
So very close. There was
if you
no
haven't paid attention
crazy
to
winner.
the NHRA, you're missing out.
Yeah, I mean,
You really are.
this was some tight racing.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
was. Pro Stock Finals came down to a showdown between Bo Butner and Greg Anderson. While Anderson actually had the much better reaction time, it doesn't always help you when you get to the other end of the track.
No, it does not.
It didn't in this case.
Nope.
Yeah, Butner pulled a 6.613 ET, 209.65 miles per hour, claims the win there. And Ellie Tonglet, who'd been the class of the Pro Stock motorcycle field all season, round 1 of the playoffs, made the finals, fell to Eddie Krawick. The pair posted identical reaction times, but Tonglet missed a shift. On goes Krawick, cruises to the win at 6.852 ET. It's amazing you're going that fast at 196.70 miles per hour on a motorcycle.
Yeah, and for him to miss a gear,
very unusual.
I mean, it
shows the human side of it, though.
It does. I mean, you can be perfect, but you're still going to mess up at some point, and it's not a guaranteed thing. We were talking about Ellie Tonglet last week. I mean, this is our pick to win. I mean, he's gonna do it, but things like this, those add up.
They do.
And they add up sometimes in the wrong way.
Points real quick here. Steve Torrance, 20-point lead in Top Fuel over Doug Kalita. He's 23 up on Brittany Force. Antron Brown now 51 back. Tony Schumacher's in 5th, 85 out. Funny Car leader is Ron Camps, only 8 points up on Robert Hite. Courtney Force trails in 3rd by 39. Matt Hagan's 90 out of the lead in 4th. Jack Beckman already 100 points in the hole in 5th. Bo Butner seemingly taking control in Pro Stock, already got 41 on Greg Anderson, 42 over Tanner Gray. Then there's Jason Line, 90 back, and Drew Skillman in 5th is already 138 points out of the lead. Over to Pro Stock, Eddie Krawick has now a commanding 71-point lead over second place Ellie Tonglet. When was the last time we talked about second place Ellie Tonglet?
It's been a long time.
Been a while.
Yeah. Hector Arana, 3rd, 89 out. Jerry Savoy, 116 behind. And Andrew Hines is in 5th, 120 from the lead. Luckily, they got several more races there for some people to try and make that up.
Yeah.
As for this weekend of racing, here we go. Kicks off with the Drive Sober 200 at Dover International Raceway in the Xfinity Series. More on that coming up. There's some pretty cool stuff that Dover is doing and some of the drivers are doing with the state of Delaware on that. You're going to find this on the NBC Sports Network, the MRN Radio Network as well. Begins at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time. So right about the time we wrap up this show today, you can catch racing.
That's right.
Camping World Truck Series rolled across the country to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It'll be the Las Vegas 350 this evening. Fox Sports 1 and MRN Radio, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. You had noted that they were already out there
already
right
on
about
track.
showtime, 9 o'clock in the morning out there hitting the track doing practice. That's an early start.
Good old-fashioned one-day show.
Considering the fact that they've got the track pretty much to themselves, that's an early kick.
Yeah.
That is an extremely early kick. Well, did we have anything from that right now?
The top two I saw were Johnny Sauter and Ryan Truex.
Sauter.
Haven't seen Christopher Bell yet. Interesting. Wonder if he's sandbagging. Formula One kicking off the Sunday racing with the Malaysian Grand Prix. If you're watching it live, you've either got insomnia or you're a night owl. I'm expecting DVRs to be working
I was
overtime.
about to say, or you got DVR and you're watching it at a normal time.
Yes. Race is set to air on the NBC Sports Network beginning at 2 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Central Time Sunday morning. Races on the Sepang International Circuit, 15 turns, 3.44 miles long. This is the last time for the Malaysian Grand Prix,
So
as
weird.
Malaysia is falling off of the calendar after this race. And the Monster Energy Cup Series gets going with the Apache Warrior 400 Dover
Yes.
International Raceway. Airs on the NBC Sports Network, MRN Radio, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central Time on Sunday. And then you've also got the AAA Insurance NHRA Midwest Nationals. That'll kick off on Fox Sports 1, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time. That'll be taking place at Gateway Motorsports Park near St. Louis, Missouri. It's actually on the Illinois side of things.
It's so weird talking about Dover and not being there anymore.
Dover? And
Yeah.
not being there?
No, me not being at Dover.
Oh, I see.
I'm so
what you mean.
used to being at Dover.
I was like, wait a minute, Malaysia's the one falling off the F1 calendar. Why are we going to Dover?
yes, I successfully confused Steve West.
Yes, I was kind of trying to figure out where you were going.
It's really
That's
weird
true.
not being
you've been
up
a
there.
long time attendee at Dover.
Yeah, I attended my first NASCAR race at Dover, and just always enjoyed it. But Dover's really got to do something.
Dover's changed.
Dover has
somehow.
changed. Yeah, you're right. Somehow it has, and it has become nothing but tires.
Yeah.
But it's also that place where
We get it. I mean,
it's on your
tires.
list.
It's like we've called it Bristol on steroids
It is.
before.
It's concrete.
the high banked concrete mile long track instead of the half mile, which Bristol is. And concrete, as we know, does tend to chew tires up. We get that.
Yeah, Dover's pretty
But
good at that.
It seems to be doing it even more so now.
It as I think as this track ages, it's just really starting to be. It's one of those things. You can have your notebook. You could go there in the springtime
It's not going to matter.
and have that notebook and be like, "Yeah, we
Might
were
as well
on
toss
it."
it out the
Same
window.
thing as Atlanta. Same thing as Darlington.
Yep. That's the best part about that track is
The aging
whatever you
process
had.
causes the racing to get better.
Yep, it does.
This is probably a question that you don't know right offhand. Do we know when the last time Dover was resurfaced?
Off the top of my head, I do not know.
1995.
Was it 95?
So that's
I think
one of the
I think they
older-
put the concrete down in 95.
That's one of the older, if not the oldest, surfaces now in NASCAR.
They're going to probably be looking to repave that at some point.
But the thing about it is, the surface in and of itself. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they recently have a chunk come up?
Yeah,
They
a
did
couple years ago.
over
yeah.
in turn
Yeah,
4.
so they're going to have to start thinking about it.
They
at some
they
point
do,
in time.
and that's really going to change the complexity
It
of
will.
that race because then we're going to start seeing a track that doesn't tear up tires as much because of course they'll do concrete again.
They'll do
have to.
concrete again because of the banking.
but it'll take a lot of time for that to get back where it is now.
Yeah.
So Dover will become one of those races that maybe we'll get back to the old style of Dover that we're used to
Yeah.
from 95
Yeah,
maybe
on
so.
until that track really did go into a massive change. And it was so very fast. It wasn't
really was.
gradual.
It was big.
like night, day, here it is.
Yep.
That's that type of track now. And that's the thing that I think will really bring the fans back inside because most of them sit outside now.
That's true.
So
That's true. We're going to get into the news here, and I'm going to preface this by talking about the fact that it was Friday a week ago, yesterday a week ago, the President Donald Trump was in Alabama, Huntsville to be exact, stumping for one of the Republican senatorial hopefuls who lost. During his time, noted that the NFL players who did not stand for the national anthem needed to be fired or immediately released off of their specific teams, which of course caused a storm of reactions that either backed Trump or backed the players. NASCAR has checked in on this. We three all have our opinions as well, so we're going to check in on it. The national anthem controversy. To kneel or not to kneel, to paraphrase William Shakespeare, is the question. We will talk about that and a whole lot more racing information for you here on the Championship Racing Network, but we got to take this break.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffer from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my own life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
Choosing a bank is not an easy task. You're trusting your money and your future in the hands of strangers. At Renaissance Bank, you're no stranger. You're part of the family. Renaissance can meet all your banking needs with the tools you need to secure your family's financial future. They even have tools for your kids like student checking. No monthly maintenance fee on a balance of $500 or more, unlimited check writing, and open the account with just $50. Visit a branch today in Childersburg, Chelsea, or Sylacauga for more information. Give your kids the tools to have a prosperous and successful future. Online at RenaissanceBank.com. Renaissance Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
4 tires and 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network here on Yay 106.5, WYEA 1290, online at WYEA.net. Also from the J&M Tank Lines studios, we are live. And you can download the Yay 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets. Simply go to the Google Play Store or iTunes or all that good stuff. Right, Matt?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. And now we're
Very
getting ready to talk into something that's about to ruffle some feathers, folks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That is the definite truth. All right. Let's get through the news here, and then we'll do our personal opinions, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Holding everything.
Now, again, just a quick reminder in case you just now joined us, President Donald Trump, 1 week ago yesterday, was in Huntsville during one of his speeches that he was given. He noted that NFL players who were not standing for the national anthem needed to be fired or immediately released from their teams. Well, this caused a storm of reactions backing Trump or backing the players. NASCAR has checked in on this. Dustin, Matt, and I know this very, very well. There is a streak of pride in the United States that is as wide as it is long. And as one might imagine, it became a topic of discussion, not only last weekend at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, especially when the cameras of NBC, a decidedly in news and sports anyway, anti-Trump network by and large, couldn't seem to find one member of any Cup Series team protesting during the national anthem, not for lack of trying on NBC's part. Several team owners and executives have also gone on record, said that they don't want to see anybody within their employ participating in any such protest. The King, Richard Petty, actually took it a step further, saying this, quote, "Anybody that don't stand up for the anthem ought to be out of the country, period. We got them where they're at. What got them where they're at? The United States." He was then asked if one of his employees did protest, would they be fired? He replied simply, "You're right." ESPN.com, one of their reporters talked to RPM majority leader Andy Murstein. He was a majority owner. It's strange to think that Richard Petty's not the majority owner of Richard Petty Motorsports.
Really weird.
But anyway, Murstein modified the reply. For his part, said, quote, "I would sit down with the employee and say it's the wrong thing to do that, and many people, including myself, view it as an affront to our great country." Murstein later added in a text on the topic and said, quote, "If there is disenchantment towards the president or a few bad law enforcement officers, don't have it cross over to all that is still good and right about our country." Richard Childress also spoke about the protests. He echoed his fellow Richard Petty when he said that any protesting by any members of his organization would net the members a, quote, "ride on a Greyhound bus." Added, quote, "Anybody that works for me should respect the country we live in. So many people gave their lives for it. This is America." You've also got Joe Gibbs. Now, Joe Gibbs has a fairly interesting way of looking at this because Joe Gibbs has been on both sides of this. He's an NFL Hall of Fame coach who won 3 Super Bowls with the Washington Redskins. Now he's a NASCAR owner. Said of the national anthem, quote, "So much has been sacrificed for our country and our flag. It's a big deal to honor America. I'm proud of the way that we've represented ourselves. I'm proud of the sport, too. I think the sport has a certain way of looking at things. I really appreciate that." Okay, so these are the owners.
Yeah.
Drivers began to check in as well. Among them, Team Penske Racing driver Brad Keselowski. Obviously, he is an owner in the Camping World Truck Series, but we'll use the driver side of things now. Released a series of tweets on his personal page last Sunday following the race at New Hampshire. Said, quote, "I can get behind trying to make the world a better place. Can't get behind putting down others. Kneeling clearly does both." He then added, quote, I choose to honor our country and hope others do too out of my respect and love for a country that has provided us so many blessings. Sure, our country isn't perfect, far from it. The list of misgivings is tremendous, but I hope you can see the positives and honor it as well. Please don't believe that when we stand, it's out of disrespect to civil rights. It is and always will be out of respect and love for our flag. I plan to stand and sing the national anthem with my family as long as we're able, every chance possible. I hope you will too. So please don't fall for the false narrative of choice between patriotism and racism. It is simply not the case. Dale Earnhardt Jr. posted about it on his Twitter account, but instead of putting his own personal feelings there, he chose himself to speak through quoting John F. Kennedy. Earnhardt posted, quote, all Americans are granted rights to peaceful protests. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. It's an interesting quote.
It is.
Stop and think about
It is.
It is.
It's a very interesting quote.
Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr., who, if you didn't know, is from Mobile, Alabama, and happens to be a black man. He put his thoughts in as well, said he agreed with Brad Keselowski's comments about not mixing standing with the flag as any form of racism, added that athletes can do what they wish, but they do have the right of protesting, but that he grew up going into class and respecting the country that we live in. As for NASCAR itself, they waited until Monday to check in on the controversy, released a statement that read, quote, sports are a unifying influence in our society, bringing people of differing backgrounds and beliefs together. Our respect for the national anthem has always been a hallmark of our pre-race events. Thanks to the sacrifices of many, we live in a country of unparalleled freedoms and countless liberties, including the right to peacefully express one's opinion. A lot has been made over the last week or so as well about are there rules regarding this. Now, the NFL rulebook, which I read through, doesn't have anything, but the NFL also has what they call a game operations manual. That's not easily available online, by the way. And it does note where a team can be, and I express those words very carefully, can be penalized if they are not standing, as the game operations manual says, hand over their heart with their helmet in their left arm. Okay? Right hand over your heart, helmet under the left arm, standing at attention. But it doesn't say that you will be. It just says that you can be. It's at their discretion. Other leagues kind of mention the same sort of thing. Major League Baseball, the NBA, NHL, so on and so forth. NASCAR's rules state that no driver is to get into their car prior to the performance of the national anthem and will give drivers 5 minutes following the anthem to get in and settle into their car prior to the command to fire their engines. As to what the drivers or the team members do during the anthem, that is not addressed in the NASCAR rule book.
Okay.
Who would like to lead off?
I'm going to go last.
You're going last.
I always
I'll
go
second.
first.
I'll go second.
You'll go second. All right.
I'll let the big man here have the floor first.
Yeah. Well, and I
Steve,
created
you
a
have
little bit of a
con.
stir as well when I posted about this.
Oh, you think?
that was.
Oh, yeah.
That went
That
all
was
over.
interesting to read.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it went a little bit off the track of where I was trying to go with this.
Which,
It did.
before you even begin, everything that's been posted somewhere in the context of people voicing their opinions or whatever,
Ties it.
it always goes off the rails and goes someplace it shouldn't.
Unfortunately,
It doesn't
it does.
stay on the actual topic.
Yeah.
So there you go. I'll preface
Here's the
with
thing.
that.
I grew up in a house where my father was a veteran. He went into the Navy, came out of the Air Force. I've talked about this before if you know me and have known me at any point in time. If you don't, my dad went in the Navy and had to go, when he was stationed in Texas, had to go to an Air Force base to deliver something, and it happened to be into where they were working on computers there. My dad had always been a computer guy in the early days of it. We're talking late 50s here, so computers were still kind of a budding science, if you will. And he started asking questions. And a guy said, well, let's find out what you know, and asked my dad to load a program using the old IBM cards, the old punch cards.
Yeah.
My dad loaded it up and got it running, never had to ask any questions. The guy said, you need to go over and you need to talk about transferring to the Air Force to get into here. My dad used that, launched from leaving the Air Force with an honorable discharge, and went into the Veterans Administration Hospital working in their computer departments in Boston and Birmingham, which is how I ended up being born in Boston and raised in Birmingham. My dad has long taught me a respect for the flag and a respect for the United States Constitution. Now, some people kind of mistake what the First Amendment to the Constitution means. They think that it's free speech for everybody and everything. Technically, it is the freedom for us and for the press to be able to criticize the federal government or the state government or the county government or the city government without repercussion from said government organization.
Right.
Okay? But since we have taken it to the extent of all of us getting free speech, while I may disagree, and in this case I do, with the way that they're protesting what they're protesting, I will defend to my dying day their right to do it.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that I like it. And in this case, I don't. Because, again, my father taught me the proper way as a military man or an ex-military man and a civilian as well, how to respect the flag that you live under. Because I've said this many occasions. We got a lot to be proud of in this country. We're approaching 250 years as an actual congealed nation under this Constitution. Sorry, Sheila Jackson Lee, not 400 years.
Yeah.
But we're approaching 250 years under that. Okay? We've been around for a long time. We got a lot to be proud of in that point in time. We've been a leader on this planet in a lot of things. But at the same time, we got a lot of things that we can hang our heads about, too.
Yep.
In the end, to me, this is still the greatest country on the face of the planet.
Yep.
What this has become, what this was at the initial part of it, Colin Kaepernick, the mediocre San Francisco 49ers quarterback, and I use that term very lightly. He started this because he was decrying the feeling of police racism towards black people. This isn't a President Trump thing. I bring back in the representative from Texas, Sheila Jackson Lee, who just this past week took about 5 minutes on the congressional floor, on the floor of the House of Representatives, took about 5 minutes to go from a standing position to a kneeling position.
Yep.
And blamed this on President Donald J. Trump, and then needed a crane to pick her back up and put her on her feet. She is 100% clueless. Here's why. Colin Kaepernick started this when President was Barack Obama.
Yep.
And Donald J. Trump wasn't even the president-elect.
Yep.
Fact
This
one.
has zero to do with Trump.
Yep.
And quite frankly, we've lost the argument here.
Yep.
Okay?
It's gone.
And if there is any one person, black, white, pink, purple, polka dotted, checkered, I don't care what your skin color is.
I like polka dots.
It doesn't matter what your skin color is on this planet. If you're being persecuted by somebody, in this case a police officer, because of the color of your skin, that's one time too many.
Yeah.
I grant you that. But we've now turned this argument into this is a protest against the flag. Colin Kaepernick's lost this argument. It's no longer effective.
Nope.
We need to find another way to get this word out. These are men who are being paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars every single year to play a game that the three of us played as boys.
Yep.
I still like to play on my gaming system, and I'm so good at it.
And we still love heck, I would love to get out there on a Sunday afternoon and play catch and get into a game of touch or tackle football. Doesn't matter to me. I would love to do it. But I'm not getting paid millions of dollars. These men have plenty of time in the off season and standings within their communities to be able to go out there and get this message out there. This is the improper way to do this, in my mind.
Very
the
much
message has
agreed.
been lost. We need to find another way to do this.
Right.
Yep.
But again, basics of this. I hate the fact that they're doing it, but just because I hate it doesn't mean that I won't defend your right to do it. Matt.
Exactly. I echo the words you said, but speaking from the point of where I've had a fire suit and helmet and shoes strapped onto my body, I've been in situations, well, back to the part where the NASCAR rule where they have to be standing out of the car. I do remember when they used to sit in the cars while the anthem was playing. They'd be their respective wife, girlfriend, mother, whoever would be standing by the car with whomever they were there with. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, if that was still in effect, people would be losing their minds.
Yeah.
Because you'd hear land of the free, home of the brave. 30 seconds later, gentlemen, start your engines. Boom, we're racing. All that went into effect after September the 11th in 2001. Okay? I've been in a situation in dirt racing. I've been in two situations before. The only two times I've ever had to do it. One time we had to take the cars the front stretch. They allowed us to get out of the cars and be respectful to the stars and stripes. Mm-hmm. Helmet off, helmet sitting on top of your car. You can hold your helmet however you want to do it.
Right.
I've been in a situation before where they make you roll the cars to the front stretch, shut them off, don't get out of your cars. It's a funny feeling when you can't get out of a car, stand right hand over your heart and looking at the flag and paying your respects for what it's meant to be paid for. But these NFL overpaid pricks,
Yeah.
Careful.
bunch of
Careful.
just want to be a handout. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just want everything handed to them. I fall back on what Steve said. Pay your respects to the flag like it needs to be, because,
Yeah, this argument has been lost.
the argument is lost. You've lost your argument.
It's turned into something that it was never meant to be at the beginning, and therefore the message is done.
And it doesn't feel right if you can't stand there. Me personally, it feels really very awkward. If you can't stand there out of your car with your fire suit on, you're getting ready to get on the track and do battle. If you can't stand there at attention and pay your respect, because that's what allows you to get to do what you're getting to do and have fun.
We've seen this as PA announcers.
Yep.
We get the chance to be in a very interesting position in the fact that we can overlook the crowd.
Right.
Which a lot of people don't necessarily have that ability to do. And the cameras don't necessarily show all of the people. If you do a national anthem the way that it is supposed to be sung,
Exactly.
not like Whitney Houston, for example, if you sing the national anthem the way that it was written, it'll take you 1.5 to 2 minutes, give or take.
Right.
By and large, even we, the short attention span society that we are, we can stand at attention for 1.5 to 2 minutes.
Yep.
Back in 2000, the first ever PA job that I ever had was with the Birmingham Barons back at the old Hoover Met. And you could tell when somebody was taking a little bit too long.
Yep.
And the players would start to kind of
Get restless.
hey, I'm trying to get ready for a game. Can we, move this on? And about 1:45 in, if they knew that the end wasn't impending, suddenly they're looking at the scoreboard, or they're looking at the fans in the stands, or they're looking up in the sky. Their attention's going, hey, listen, we've got a game to play. I'm here to do this. I get it. Our attention span can wander from time to time. But for 2 minutes, for 2 stinking minutes out of your life, when the national anthem plays,
Be respectful.
friend of mine's up at a car show,
Yep.
car swap up in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, one of the biggest car swap meets in the entire country in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And this morning, they played the national anthem. And he said that everybody stopped walking. All the cars that were moving stopped. Everybody stood, looked for the closest flag, and stood for 2 minutes.
I saw something on social media this morning. Somebody said it was a pleasant sight at Dover yesterday for the K&N Series finale. Every single wrench was laid down. Every engine was stopped. Generator was shut off. And everybody stopped, found the closest flag in both garages and on pit road.
I've never been in the military.
Right.
You've never been in the military.
No.
We respect the men and women who serve.
Amen.
And we respect by God's almighty service,
Yep.
the men and women who have laid down their lives for this country.
Exactly.
Dustin's the third guy on this one.
Yep.
He has served in the military, and he's about to go back in through the reserves.
Yep.
You've got a very interesting perspective on this.
Just a little bit.
There are rules
hair.
within the military about what you're supposed to do when the flag goes up and the flag comes down.
Oh, yeah.
You know a lot about this.
We
but
have
unfortunately,
rules.
we're going to make you wait.
Yeah.
Because time has run out on this thing. So we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, Dustin will put in his
2
I'm
cents?
sure it's more than 2 cents.
I say 4 cents.
It's going to be a
I'm
dollar.
thinking it's more like a
There's
quarter.
There's a dollar coming.
Here we go. Strap in. That's next.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network.
Renaissance Bank in Childersburg and the Championship Racing Network invite you to join them for the Pinko Wing Chili Cook-Off on October 13th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's right, Friday the 13th. For just $5, you get a bowl of chili with all the fixings, chips or crackers, a cookie, and a drink, and add on a candy apple or cotton candy for just $2. Plus so many other activities like a raffle for 2 Sloss's Furnace VIP tickets, plus other giveaways and prizes. All proceeds from the event benefit the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. That's October 13th at Renaissance Bank in Childersburg with support from Radio Alabama.
2 tires only and back out to the track for more action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network, coming to you live from the J&M Tank Line Studios right here on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290, part of Radio Alabama. Online, WYEA.net. Make sure you download that Yay 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets. That way you can take us wherever you are in the world. On air, online, wherever you are, we are too. This segment of the show brought to you in part by our great friends at Renaissance Bank. When you need financial freedom, make your first and only choice, Renaissance Bank. Stop in and see Janice and the girls and Russell, all on 8th Avenue Southwest in Childersburg, online at renaissancebank.com, or give them a call today, 256-378-4002. Renaissance Bank, the official bank of the Championship Racing Network.
Talking about the inevitable subject of the national anthem protests that have been in the NFL, spread a little bit. One guy in Major League Baseball, anyway, protested one bit. And
Yeah.
I imagine the NBA will be front and center coming up here in the fall. Again, losing the argument here of what this initially started over. NASCAR has rules, some specifics, but it doesn't state that you have to be at full attention, although the drivers and the crew members by and large are.
Yeah.
We've given, Matt and I, our personal opinions. Dustin Harmer,
Yeah.
Batter up.
Marine,
The Marine.
ready to go into the reserve.
Yeah.
Coming up here very, very soon.
Yes.
Batter
You
up.
have a somewhat different take on it, maybe, than we do, certainly from a military angle.
I will tell you this. My first initial thought when this all started going on, and it started with the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, I really just wanted to reach out. And you kind of like AT&T, reach out and touch someone. Yeah, I just wanted to reach out and just get my hands on Colin Kaepernick. But, like you had said, we have the freedom to protest. Peacefully protest.
Peaceably protest. That's the big
Peacefully
difference.
protest. Now,
You know,
that
and,
is...
and when it comes to a group of people, let me state this real quick. When it comes to a group of people that are going out there and stating that they want to get together to peaceably protest, that group is only as smart as the dumbest person in there. So the first person that throws a rock at someone else or at a business, suddenly it creates a mob riot.
Yeah, then usually there's quite a few of those dummies out there.
Yeah, so there's a difference between peaceably protesting and then turning it into a riot.
Yeah. Now, what he had initially done, that was a peaceful protest. The problem was that I saw was it was at the wrong time, and the time you don't want to do that is at national anthem time. Okay, I understand you want to protest what's going on in the world, but you still live in the country, and you still should show your respectfulness to the flag, to the anthem. Now, his initial thing was not about the flag. It was not about the anthem. It was just him doing his thing because he wanted to bring some awareness to some social injustice. Now, you're right. You said it earlier. It was not during the time of President Trump. Now, fast forward. Now we've got President Trump, and he speaks up on the fact that several of these guys have been doing it. And then all of a sudden it's well, you know what? Now we're going to do it just because we're going to do it.
Right.
That's the thing. And Nikki and I had actually talked about this, and she's been on plenty of fights on the Northeast Maryland page on Facebook. Believe me, she can hold her own. But she brought up a very good point, and it actually rung home to me. It was the fact that when you tell a child not to do something, what are they going to do?
They're automatically going to do it.
They're going to do it. So when you
Why
tell
can't I do it?
So when you tell somebody you should not do this, and if you do this, this is what should happen to you. All of a sudden, now you have all these overpaid, highly overpaid guys who play a game and
Especially in
make
the case of
all
Colin
this,
Kaepernick.
all this money.
Very.
Now you've got all these guys who are like, you know what? Now we're going to be children and we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Now we're just going to do it because we don't like you. Oh, so now what initially was something that I could get behind to a degree with Colin Kaepernick, with his peaceful protest that he was doing, and a few others that had actually done it. Now you've just basically taken everything that he was hoping to accomplish and you've tossed it out the window. Now you've angered the nation. Now you've angered all of us patriotic Americans about the flag and the anthem because now you want to do it for spite.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where it chimes in on me because of me being in the military. When I was in the military, when colors would go or reveille, whatever the case was, that blew, we had certain things we had to do. Certain bugle calls meant things. When the flag was going up, you stopped whatever you're doing. I don't care where you were. You stopped. You saluted. The flag went up. That was it. You had to do that.
And here's an interesting point. And my dad made this very clear to me, too. you didn't have to actually be in sight of the flagpole when you heard that.
All you had to do was hear the music.
You hear the music, you turn to the direction that you know where the flagpole is, and you salute.
And if you don't know where the flag is, you still stand at a position of attention and you still salute if you're in uniform. If you're not, hand over your heart. That's how it works. So if you hear the music, you stopped. The thing is there are children on military posts who are not military service members that have more respect for the flag and for the national anthem and everything else than half of these crybaby kids on these sidelines at these football games. Because I have seen it myself when I've been on post, and when it happens, these kids stop what they're doing. Even if they're playing, even the smallest child stops and points in a direction. Sometimes they're all over the place. They don't know which way to turn, so they just stand, but they still stand and do it. These children, a whole different ball game. Now, what you've basically done is you've taken what was supposed to be something for good, and you've turned it into a personal vendetta against the President of the United States, Donald Trump, because of what he said. And I stand behind what he said. I think if you want to disrespect this country that's giving you a paycheck, that's giving you the opportunity to do what you're doing on the football field each week, or on the baseball field, or whatever sporting event you are, or whatever you might be doing, you have the ability because of where you live. Now go do that stuff someplace else, and I guarantee you're going to be facing a lot harsher penalties.
I would agree with that.
With me being in the military, I support their right to protest.
Even if I don't necessarily agree with it.
If I don't agree with it, I still support their right. I defend their right. I will continue to defend their rights, as I have done, and I will continue to do. But don't disrespect my country.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee
there are
you,
better ways
you will see another side of me that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
And I don't want that side to come out.
Well, we'll see if.
And I'm glad. And I'll tell you what, I will say this in closing. I commend NASCAR. I commend the owners. I commend the drivers for standing up, being patriotic. Some of them might have a disagreement. Maybe they don't agree with it fully. But the premise of the fact is you don't do what these people are doing. And NASCAR is going to be the one patriotic sport that is going to support, and it's going to put it all in context. And we're going to be able to support NASCAR in their fight against this junk.
Just like there's certain media members that are trying to keep NASCAR drug into it at Dover this week.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about that during the show. You know, certain photos and stuff like that. You know, stop fueling the fire. Stop fanning the flames. Don't pour a bottle of kerosene on a fire when it's not needed.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't pay attention to them.
Exactly.
Bingo.
That's it. But that's what it was a good thing, turned into a bad thing, and now we have to basically retaliate, so to speak, against it.
The sad thing, and I'm afraid that this is going to happen soon if it hasn't happened already, and if it does, and I know any of these people in my life, they will not be in my life anymore, whether it's personal or whether it's on Facebook. But the first person who I hear says, I can't believe NASCAR drivers aren't taking part in this because they're redneck racists, they're gone.
See, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
The word's already been thrown out there about NASCAR fans, about NASCAR in itself. It's just a redneck racist organization. Well, here's the thing. Why don't you drop the one word from your context in the first place, that being racist?
Yeah.
Because if that word was taken out of the word altogether, if that word was not existent, you would have to find a new word. And that's what you need to do. Because that word has been so diluted by the fact that everybody tosses it. I don't agree with you, Steve. You're racist. That's it.
That's it.
I've called it. Now you are. That's what you are. Now everybody jumps on board with that. And that's what this has turned into. It's if you don't agree with me, guess what? You're racist. And that's that. No, I'm entitled to my opinion, as you are too. You have freedom of speech. I have freedom of speech.
And mainly if people at a certain sports network, I won't call any names, would do their homework.
Oh, you mean 4 letters?
Yeah, 4 letters.
I know the one you're speaking of.
If they would do their homework.
Ocho!
If they would do their homework and pay attention before they call this sport racist, take them up and down pit road, walk them in between the cars, look on the pit crews. I would be willing to say that up to 25% of NASCAR pit crews are minority.
That would be one thing.
That's about mirroring the American population.
And the thing is this. Not just take them down pit road. Just take them to a race in general. Because you ain't going to see a bigger group of patriotic folks than you're going to see at a NASCAR race.
And you'll see some drunk idiots. There's no doubt about it. But you know what? I see drunk idiots. I've seen drunk idiots at NFL games and Major League Baseball games, too.
But you know what's funny? Those drunk idiots at a NASCAR race, they still stand up.
Yeah.
and they still.
But if you look,
they still put
even
their
if-
hand over their heart.
They'll kind of sway back and forth a little
even
bit.
even if at the different facilities I've been to, Talladega, Daytona, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Darlington. Darlington in the heart of South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's an overwhelming amount, but there are a fair amount of minority fans in the stands watching motorsports. So you have no argument to say that NASCAR or IndyCar or what be it is a racist sport.
And
You have no
You can
basis.
go to any race, and you're going to see minorities at that race.
Yes.
Absolutely. You want to talk about the day that I love watching racing probably the most of any day in the racing season?
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, because you get up in the morning, you got Formula One, then you got the Indy 500, and then you got the Coca-Cola 600.
Mm-hmm.
And Formula One's at Monaco, and I love watching them race at Monaco. Indy 500 is the crown jewel, one of the crown jewels of all of racing. I don't care what series you're
But it's the most patriotic weekend ever when it comes to those races, and
yeah,
they
and
make
you
sure.
get the
of it.
Coca-Cola 600. It's the longest race on the schedule.
Yep.
Granted, IndyCar's got a race that now
Special
equals
paint
that.
schemes.
Okay, but you get special paint schemes, but it's the pre-race ceremonies before the
Yeah.
Indy 500,
Yeah.
before that Coca-Cola 600. Those two just fill me with so much pride and so much warm feelings when it comes to this country.
I'll say that about seeing the Coca-Cola 600 this year. Seeing it on
Rub it in.
television is one thing.
Rub it in. That-
Seeing it on television is one thing. Experiencing it live,
I bet.
totally different.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Basically, what it boils down to, NASCAR, you're gonna have to save this nation.
When they they flew those Apache helicopters up outside from the dirt track and flew them at sweet level, a lap around the racetrack.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa, wow.
Those things are bad, but right
Wow.
there, yes, they are.
Yeah.
All right, wow, we're way behind, aren't we? Shall we get into some more news?
Yeah, but you know what? The thing about it is,
Okay.
just in general,
As a wrap-up.
as a wrap up for us,
Yeah.
these are times where we talk about the fact of being one way or another, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
But all of us, I think, are in agreement to the fact that you have the right to do it, but we have the right to
We have the right to
resist
disagree.
Right
you
to
as
disagree.
well. So, and that's the one thing about our show that has been completely different
Right.
all the
Right.
time is we're going to tell you how it is, we're going to tell you what we think, but we're going to tell you how it's done the right way.
Now,
Bingo.
one final note here, and we're on Facebook Live.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. If you disagree with any one or all three of us, that's fine.
Yeah, let us know what you think on Facebook.
I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you as long as it's kept civil.
And that's
Amen.
the problem.
Amen.
That there lies
That's the
problem.
thing that we've also lost in this country.
Civility.
You mentioned it just a minute ago. You disagree with me, you label me automatically.
Exactly.
Okay? That's not going to get us anywhere in this country. It's not furthering us down the road of
No.
race relations or whatever relations you want to talk about.
It just makes them feel
we
better.
continue to splinter ourselves in way too many ways. 50 years ago, Martin Luther King Jr. gave his life so that his children could be judged by what? The content of their character, not the color of their skin. How many times have we heard that in our lives?
It's time to stop.
Yeah, now
doing
we're
it.
hearing all of a sudden that there are kids on college campuses, and unfortunately they're black kids, who want to resegregate and have black-only college dorms.
Yeah.
When did we get to that? Why did we lose that in only 50 years?
Yeah.
Because we're splintering ourselves. I'm seeing it more and more now about how we need to get all the men out of political office and put all the women in there. Okay, if they're the best political candidate.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to do it because they happen to be a woman. If they're the best candidate, I'll
Right.
do that.
Yep.
I'll vote for
Right.
the woman. I got no problem with that.
Right.
But I'm going to go for the best political candidate.
Amen.
I don't care whether they're male or female. I don't care whether they're black or white. Doesn't matter to me.
Exactly.
And it shouldn't. But unfortunately, we're splintering ourselves in this country down male and female roads, down race roads. So it doesn't matter what race, creed, color, gender, any of that. To me, I couldn't care less.
Same here.
How are we
Same
going to
here.
get together as a country, 320 million people of us, and move this country forward without being able to respect another person's right to have an opinion, even though we may disagree with it?
Yep.
With that said, I guess we got to take a break. Huh?
Yeah, we do. Yep. Top of the hour already. Hour one
Really?
gone. Hour
one's
two.
gone, and we haven't really gotten into any news.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the one part about our show that everybody loves. They love when they just hear us.
All right, we're going to get into some news coming up in hour number 2.
And our special guest.
We're already there.
Yep.
And special guests coming into studio as well. Stay tuned. Plenty more on the Championship Racing Network to go.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffered from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my own life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
Choosing a bank is not an easy task. You're trusting your money and your future in the hands of strangers. At Renaissance Bank, you're no stranger. You're part of the family. Renaissance can meet all your banking needs with the tools you need to secure your family's financial future. They even have tools for your kids like student checking. No monthly maintenance fee on a balance of $500 or more, unlimited check writing, and open the account with just $50. Visit a branch today in Childersburg, Chelsea, or Sylacauga for more information. Give your kids the tools to have a prosperous and successful future. Online at renaissancebank.com. Renaissance Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Drivers and Danica, start your engines!
Pull those belts down tight one more time. Warm up those tires. Hit your marks. And let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, NHRA, and local dirt track and drag strip racing talk. This is the Championship Racing Network.
Where'd you go? Where's your home? How'd you end up all alone? Can you hear me now? Hear me now.
Now, here's Steve West, Dustin Harmer, and Matt Nicholson with producer John Myers.
Welcome back into hour number 2 of the Championship Racing Network here on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290, right here on Radio Alabama. Coming to you live from the J&M Tank Line Studios, online, WYEA.net. Make sure you get that download. Go get that app downloaded. Yay 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets.
Free.
It's free. So make sure you get it.
Free.
Make sure you're following us, of course, on Facebook Live. We've got it going right now. We've got Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat to come, everything else, all that good stuff. So make sure you're following us along with all of those. And we've got a great hour coming at you. We've got a guest coming up. But we have news to get to because Steve is going to have a meltdown.
Nah. Let's get into this. Monster Energy drink came on this year as the title sponsor of the Cup Series, and they are asking NASCAR for a little bit of extra time in order to make their decision on possible long-term title sponsorship of the Cup Series. Reporter Adam Stern of Sports Business Daily sent out a series of tweets that it said in part, quote, Monster Energy has requested more time from NASCAR for its renewal decision per sources briefed on the matter. It was unclear at press time whether the extension was granted, but industry execs said NASCAR would have little incentive not to grant it. Sources have said Monster was contractually obligated to let NASCAR know by this December, so any extension would likely run into 2018. On top of the entitlement decision for the 2019-2020, Monster Energy is also facing decisions on whether to renew with Stewart-Haas Racing and the NHRA's John Force Racing for 2018 as well.
I smell a buyout coming.
That's something that's been in the rumor mill for a little while. A certain soda company is thinking about trying to buy into Monster Energy.
Based out of Atlanta, maybe?
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what's going on there, but at least they're not slamming the door on the idea.
Right.
I like Monster Energy Cup.
I've gotten used to it.
I like it, actually.
It was a little clunky at the beginning,
It's
but
edgy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, hey, I'm cool.
Just think if it went, just think looking at stuff at Talladega for the like how they go with the series identification. If it went to Coca-Cola, NCCCS, Coca-Cola Cup,
Coca-Cola
Cup Series. That'd be
That's
a mouthful.
the thing, though. But
From all of
seen
us
this
here
before.
at the Championship Racing Network to all of those who might be working for Monster, please don't go.
Well, here's the thing. Even if Coca-Cola were to buy, and that's the rumor, if Coca-Cola were to buy out Monster Energy, that doesn't mean that they would necessarily have to
That
change
is
the
true.
name, the title
That is
sponsorship.
true.
I hope not.
Because
we got
Coca-Cola
a great
owns
new cup and everything else.
Coca-Cola owns Mellow Yellow. And guess what? They're the title sponsor of the top drag racing series in the NHRA.
Yep.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that it would have to become the Coca-Cola Cup Series.
Belay my last. Just don't change it. Because that cup that we've got is cool, man.
It is cool.
And we're back to an actual cup at that.
Yeah. In other off-track news, BK Racing, and we're not talking about Brad Keselowski, we're talking about BK up at the Cup Series. They're likely to keep Brett Moffitt for the remainder of the season. Moffitt's been signed to run in the Camping World Truck Series full-time in 2017 with Red Horse Racing, but that company up and shut its doors without really any explanation back in mid-May. GMS Racing picked him up, put him in the Iowa Xfinity Series race the next month, but that was a one-race deal, and Moffitt didn't hear anything from anybody until August when BK Racing asked him to drive at Watkins Glen. He was brought back for the very next race at Michigan, ran at Chicagoland 2 weeks ago in the number 83. When he was asked if he was going to be in the car through the end of the season, Moffitt said that he and the team owner, Ron Devine, have come to an agreement for just that. But he added that should somebody have a sponsor for a race, see, there you go.
And there you are.
Matt, you got it.
Yep.
Get yourself a sponsor. You good to go.
Hello.
Yeah, Moffitt might be asked to sit out at that point in time. Otherwise, Devine said, quote, "We love Brett. He's great. He's a great driver. We think we can get him sponsored. That's what we're trying to do. We're working on it. He's working on it, and we're happy to have him as part of our organization." But he reiterated the caution by saying, quote, "There are a couple of other drivers who have some sponsors that may boot him for a race here and there. If that doesn't come together, we're going to try and run Brett."
We just need to find you somebody in your family, extended family, somewhere along the lines.
Find that rich uncle who owns that paper company out
that
in
has
Oregon or something.
that has a company somewhere. We just, you know what, we need to get on Ancestry and find more family.
Sure, you're
and
not
find
related
that
in some
rich
way to
one.
Steve Wozniak
Yeah,
from Apple or
something,
anything.
anything, you know.
I just fall back to my favorite saying: "Have fire suit, we'll travel."
because the thing is, I mean, you've got drivers out there who do have sponsorship. You know, John West Townley, Zaxby's, Menards. Paul Menard. But the problem is you can have the sponsor, but you can be a horrible driver. So that doesn't really bode well either.
Brandon Jones and Ream.
Yep, there's another one. So we need to find you somebody who owns a big company.
That would be great.
That'd be great.
Premium Motorsports has tabbed Ross Chastain to run this weekend in the Monster Energy Cup Series. He'll take over the number 15 car. And this is where, if you were listening in hour number 1, where he's going to be working with the state of Delaware, specifically their Office of Highway Safety. The pairing of team and driver along with the state office is going to highlight Delaware's Use Your Melon campaign in order to urge drivers to drive sober. It's going to be Chastain's second ever Cup Series start. The other one actually came earlier this season at Dover, where he impressed a lot of people with a top 20 finish. Let's face it, that's not an easy thing to do. Dover's not an easy track to get.
Especially in a premium motorsports car.
Yeah, so congratulations to him. In the Xfinity Series news, the very same Delaware office going to team up with the number 4 of JD Motorsports and driver Gary Keller, highlighting the same campaign to drive sober. The program is working with many supermarkets and farmers markets around the state of Delaware this weekend and for probably the next couple of weeks, using and placing Use Your Melon stickers on watermelons that are for sale. I didn't even think about watermelons for sale at a track.
That's actually not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. Talladega?
At all.
Are you listening? Just throwing it out there.
Hello.
Monday, JGL Racing made a somewhat surprising announcement. The driver that just missed the 2017 Series playoffs, Dakota Armstrong, he's out of the number 28
He
Toyota,
gone.
effective immediately. The problem was not Armstrong. It was his sponsors who are reportedly behind in their payments to JGL Racing. They had been warning at JGL Racing Armstrong about the money that was being owed, but the warnings apparently fell on deaf ears, didn't help. Armstrong is out of the car. No replacement was immediately named.
That stinks on his part because it wasn't his fault, but if you're going to sponsor somebody, pay your bill.
Exactly.
Pay your bill.
Or if you feel like you might have a problem, maybe don't take that big commitment to do that.
Exactly. Don't take it.
NASCAR came down rules-wise on the number 2 team of Ben Kennedy. The 2 car was found to be outside of NASCAR's height requirements following the race at Kentucky Speedway. They didn't say whether it was too high or too low.
I think it was low.
Okay. They fined the crew chief $10,000. They suspended him for 1 race. In addition, Kennedy lost 10 championship points, and the 2 team lost 10 owners' points as well. It is unlikely that they are going to appeal. Camping World Truck Series noted X Games superstar Travis Pastrana set to return to NASCAR racing today. He's running the number 45 Chevrolet Silverado for Nice Motorsports in Las Vegas with noted hot dog chain restaurant Wiener Schnitzel. This is mostly a Western United States hot dog chain, by the way, for those of you that are thinking, I've never heard of it. It's because you don't live in the western part of the country.
Exactly.
They're going to be a sponsor, and this is actually kind of a cool thing because they could have backed out on this at any time.
Oh, they could have.
The company said that they were willing to, they told Pastrana that they would be his sponsor if he were to return and run in NASCAR. And that was 2, maybe 3 years ago?
Here's the big thing. If he was to say, I've got a full-time ride, would they back him full-time?
Back him at that point in time? That's an interesting question to note.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Phoenix International Raceway. Hey, money makes the world go round, right? It's about to at Phoenix. They're undergoing a major makeover, going to change the way that the racing feels, the looks at the kind of the odd-shaped tri-oval. If you haven't really paid attention to Phoenix, go look it up. It's a very interesting tri-oval.
I like that track.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's different from everybody else.
Just not where they're putting
now they got some financial aid coming in to assist for paying for the improvements. A company called Ingenuity Sun Media has bought the naming rights for the track for the next decade at a cost of approximately $100 million over that time. If Ingenuity Sun Media doesn't make a whole lot of connection for you, maybe the fact that we call them ISM might.
Maybe.
Ding,
Saw
ding,
them in the
ding.
spring.
Maybe.
Uh-huh.
We had to get used to saying the ISM screens around the track.
ISM vision screen.
That was the most messed up part about that weekend, was trying to get that down.
Things that you got to get used to saying. Each year, ISM is going to pay not quite $10 million for the naming rights. The rest of the amount of $10 million is going to be paid through the companies continuing to upgrade the fan experience at the track through tech upgrades, installing leading-edge digital technology, upgrades including digital screens, Talladega, a mobile app, and access to social media all around the track, all meant to kind of enhance the fan experience.
And that's the one thing we hear more times than not anymore is all these tracks they're updating things and they're doing things, but the words that always are put in there at some point in time is upgrade the fan experience. It's all about the fan experience. It's not about what's good for the track. It's about the fans. And what's good for the fans.
Bingo.
What would be really, really good for the fans is if the racing got back to the way that it used to be.
That would be extremely helpful.
Ding, ding.
But I mean, at least they're trying. I mean, we had Grant Lynch, Chairman and track president Grant Lynch at Talladega up in the booth for a show.
We did,
and we were talking about all the upgrades and stuff that Talladega was doing. I think it was 2 years ago we had him up there.
Yeah, I think so.
And we had him on for the show. And it was great having him on and just kind of hearing what was kind of going on behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
And just knowing what they're doing for the fan experience out there at Talladega. We get to see it firsthand.
It's a great experience.
It is. There's no awesome experience.
But then there's that time where they're going to drop a green flag and they're going to try and go racing for, in the case of Talladega, 188 laps, if not more. What's that product look like?
That's the that product at Talladega always looks good.
Yeah, but what does it look like at other tracks?
That's true.
Phoenix, it's usually very good. We just talked about New Hampshire. 14.5-second gap at the end.
We talked about Dover. It's all about tires. Every track is different, and every track is different, especially when they go back and forth. But it's all they've got to figure out little pieces of the bigger puzzle, and there's a lot of holes in some of them.
I agree. Over to the NHRA, Alan Prusienski. It's a good thing you didn't get that one. He has made the jump into pro stock racing, or made it 3 years ago. He's gained some needed financial backing as well, landing a deal with a company called eCarMover.com. eCarMover.com. It's a company that specializes in automotive shipping. The company is going to be the main sponsor for the final 4 2017 races, which will happen in St. Louis, Dallas, Las Vegas, and in Pomona, California. Prusienski needs this because he's driving for his family-owned team, a group including his wife and his father. So even with his eyes wide open on the jump from pro stock into pro stock from comp racing, knowing that the money was a bigger part of the equation at this level, said that there had been a temptation to take some weekends off this season. But he turned around and qualified for 19 out of 20 events this year, running quite well at some, having to put in extra hours at others.
Yeah.
He's been only using 2 motors this season. You think about that. How often these motors get rebuilt? In some cases, between every heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's run 2 motors all year long.
That's more than I've run.
I guarantee you everybody else is going, we need to find out where he's getting his stuff.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
He's taking
What
care.
are you doing?
He's taking care of his stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I'm not going out there to grenade it. I'm going out there to race it.
Exactly.
I need to keep this engine.
Alan has said what he's going to be doing with the sponsorship money. He feels that with the sponsorship money, he can enter 2018 with at least 4 engines to run next year.
4. There
Man
you
knows his priorities.
He does.
Think about it.
It's all about engines, right, Matt?
Exactly.
Just leave that right there.
Exactly. I'm going to leave that on the table, too.
Come on, man. Come on.
I'm leaving it on the table.
There is a girl who you've probably never heard her name before, unless you're one of her family members, but she is about to run this weekend in Top Fuel. Her name is Ashley Sanford. She's going to take over for Wayne Newby at this weekend's race in the Top Fuel division for Raspiarda Racing. They're going to put her behind the wheel this time. It's going to be the budding Top Fuel pilot's second run this season. The first time she ran was at the Chevy Performance U.S. Nationals at Indianapolis. She has been driving in the Nitro Ninja Series for Dom and Bobby Lagana, who recommended her to the Australian Top Fuel operation. If you haven't heard of the Nitro Ninja Series, don't worry, most people haven't.
There are, you know what I've learned by you saying that, because I'd never heard of that one, is the fact that there are more series out there.
Oh, yeah. It's not just the Mellow Yellow Drag Racing series, but that's the one that we're concentrating on because that's the main.
Yeah, that is the main one.
That's the main one.
And one day when we do this for a 24 hours, 24/7 network,
we'll let you guys know.
We'll let you know all about every single series.
As for Sanford, a little bit of background on her. She is all of 18 years old.
Wow.
Qualified in the top 16 at the Chevrolet Performance U.S. Nationals at Indy among 18 entrants. This time going to be a little tougher, 20 entries in all. But she hopes not only to qualify, but to make it past the first round this time. As it turns out, the aforementioned Dom Lagana is also attempting to qualify in Top Fuel this weekend. Sanford said that while she respects the Lagana brothers, she actually wants to face off and beat her boss.
Watch her tear through the field.
Wouldn't that be hilarious to watch her do that?
Yeah.
I'd love it.
Watch it.
I think it'd be fantastic.
It'd be like, super.
So we'll find out whether she has what it takes there. To the Verizon IndyCar Series 2017 season now over. Celebrations are underway. NBC Sports Network got in on the action, produced a 1-hour special that debuted on the cable outlet Thursday. It's probably going to be replayed a few times over the next few weeks. It's simply entitled Verizon IndyCar 2017, but it is all about Joseph Newgarden. It is Joseph Newgarden walking in to the studio. He sees a whole bunch of pictures from all the different races throughout the year. It's got the Astor Cup, his trophy for winning the title, sitting there. I actually DVR'd it, and I watched it Friday morning.
Yeah.
Very, very cool thing. It's just him sitting there talking about his experience in the car this year, how he kind of came up through the racing ranks from go-karts and tried over in Europe in Formula One and some of the feeder series leading up to Formula One, came back over to the United States, got his chance in IndyCar, and how he really appreciated people like Sam Schmidt and Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports.
Right.
And then coming over to Penske and how everything kind of came together this year. Very, very cool. If you haven't had the chance to check it out, check your local services guide and see if you can catch it. The show also revealed the entire list of 2017 award winners, including Joseph Newgarden officially claiming the Astor Challenge Cup for, again, being the championship driver. Team Penske obviously claiming championship team. Championship team manager and championship chief mechanic of the year also go to Team Penske people. Sunoco Diamond Performance Award goes to Newgarden for winning the most races, 4 on the season. Ed Jones of Ed Carpenter Racing claimed the Sunoco Rookie of the Year. It was kind of an easy thing, by the way. He actually was the only guy as a rookie running this year.
Oh.
But he did finish 16th in points, so congratulations. Chevrolet claimed the Manufacturers' Championship, so that means every year since they've come back since 2012, they've been the Manufacturers' Champion. Carlos Munoz of AJ Fort Racing claimed the Tag Heuer Don't Crack Under Pressure Award, and the second and third place drivers, Simon Pagano and Scott Dixon, got awards as well for being top 3 in final points, so congratulations to them. We got to take a break, do we?
Yes.
All right.
We need to take a break.
Really. When we come back, IndyCar is already talking about 2018 because really now in racing, there's not really much of anything of an off-season anymore.
Nope.
So they're talking about off-season testing and 2018 in-season testing. We'll kind of give you an idea of some of those parameters coming up in just a little bit, and we'll start to get into some Formula One news when we come back.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back.
Renaissance Bank in Childersburg and the Championship Racing Network invite you to join them for the Pinko Wing Chili Cook-Off on October 13th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's right, Friday the 13th. For just $5, you get a bowl of chili with all the fixings, chips or crackers, a cookie, and a drink, and add on a candy apple or cotton candy for just $2. Plus so many other activities like a raffle for 2 Sloss's Furnace VIP tickets, plus other giveaways and prizes. All proceeds from the event benefit the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. That's October 13th at Renaissance Bank in Childersburg with support from Radio Alabama.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffered from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my whole life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
Fuel only. Go, go, go. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network right here out of the J&M Tank Line Studios live on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290 right here on Radio Alabama online. Of course, you can listen to the online stream, WYEA.net, and make sure you download the Yay 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets. This segment of the show is brought to you in part by our great friends at Renaissance Bank. Remember, when you need financial freedom, make your first and only choice Renaissance Bank. Stop in to see Janice, Russell, and all the girls on 8th Avenue Southwest in Childersburg.
Come on.
Online at renaissancebank.com or give them a call today, 256-378-4002. Renaissance Bank, the official bank of the Championship Racing Network.
Dustin,
Yeah.
your mission, should you choose to accept it,
I don't even want to hear it, Steve.
and you should,
I shouldn't.
is to go home and practice.
We need to talk about...
In the mirror
Eighth.
10 times fast.
We need to talk about the address change.
Janice is in the studio, and we're going to say hi to her right now. How are you?
I'm great. How are y'all today?
Very happy to
Good.
have you in here today. We're looking forward here coming up in just a little bit. Talk a lot about the activity coming up. Here
Yes, the
very,
Pinko
very
Wing Chili
soon.
Cook-Off for
And-
breast cancer awareness. I mean,
Looking
I can
forward
say
to
that.
Yeah. The sad thing is that as much fun as this sounds, I can't be there.
It's okay, Steve.
Same
I'll
here.
have all the fun you need.
You need
have.
to.
You all have fun in the tower. We'll take care of the
Yeah.
fun. at
I'll
Is it
Renaissance
save you
on
a
Bank.
piece of
holiday
pork chop. You save me a bowl of chili.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's not good reheated.
You're
what you
right.
think.
The pork chop. I've tried that. Remember, I took one home and tried to reheat it. It's not the same.
Hey, there are perks to
Just
working out on
don't
television,
send me a
though.
picture. I will be very upset.
Oh, get ready.
Oh,
I will
trust me,
become
you're getting a
Snowflake.
picture.
Get ready.
But here's the thing: you get to come back with pictures of chili because we tell you what you're missing at the track. You tell us.
I
what-
get to come
what
back
we're
with
missing.
pictures of great folks down there at Renaissance Bank, all the great folks that are going to be in there, all the supporters, all the companies and everything else. So you know what?
and race cars.
And race cars. And then I get to go out to Talladega on Sunday. So
Best
yeah,
of both worlds for him.
that's right.
Yep.
All right.
Enjoy that pork chop.
Back into the news here. IndyCar has set the parameters for the off season and also in season testing, noting that teams are going to have 5 team testing days, 3 of them in the off season, which officially for them begins January the 8th. Testing season, by the way, ending just before the 2018 season officially gets underway March the 29th. They're also going to allow 2 other in-season tests that teams can schedule anywhere between March 30th and September the 16th. If you happen to be a rookie driver, teams can test with them an additional 3 dates, 1 in the off-season window, 2 more during the season. And should any full-time IndyCar team choose to test an Indy Lights driver, it gets them yet another off-season test date. There's so many different things going on there when it comes to testing.
There is no off season. They just might as well call it continuation of season.
Yeah. They're also doing tests with a new Aero kit. IndyCar allowing some limited testing. For example, they can take 2 cars for Chevrolet, 2 cars for Honda to any of their chosen testing dates, 5 of them for each of the manufacturers. The parameters state that no more than 2 cars are allowed in any one test, and the manufacturer can, if they choose, keep the competing manufacturer from attending. So if I'm Chevrolet, why in the world would I want Honda to be there?
That is an interesting twist. I've never heard of that. That's new on me.
I can let you, as Honda, be at my Chevrolet test.
How nice of you, Steve.
Why in the world would I, as Chevrolet, want my competing manufacturer to be at my test?
No.
I found that an interesting
Stay
point.
home.
That's why I included it.
Yeah.
Unpack your stuff. Stay home.
Yep. 2 of the tests, 2 of those dates are mandatory. That's Chevrolet at Phoenix International Raceway, October 17th. Honda at Texas, October 23rd. There are testing dates that are also set aside for testing the 2018 Firestone compounds as well. The testing for the tires can take place at any permanent racetrack on the IndyCar calendar. In other words, no street courses like Long Beach. Also approves that others that don't appear on the IndyCar schedule, those include Mazda Laguna Seca. It'd be interesting to run an IndyCar around the corkscrew at Mazda Laguna Seca.
Yeah.
Circuit of the Americas, which
I
will
wouldn't
be
make
hosting
it.
Formula One soon. Auto Club Speedway, if you're looking for an oval, or if you want a shorter oval, Kentucky Speedway.
If the weekend tickets weren't $250 a piece, I'd love to go to Circuit of the Americas.
That'd be fantastic.
$250 a
Weekend
piece.
pass.
Yeah, for a weekend pass.
Weekend pass.
Oh.
For Sunday only,
It's like $99.
somewhat cheaper.
It's like $99 for Sunday.
Well, I guess it's on my bucket list.
It's on the bucket list, but you know, also on the bucket list is
Farther down.
Nikki going down and getting us press credentials.
Yes. Did you catch that?
There are perks to working in the business, folks.
My bucket list is Daytona 500.
Daytona's there.
Don't.
Check.
Yeah.
Stop.
Daytona 500 is there. Richmond is there, and
Yes.
Martinsville are there for me. Those
Check
two.
for me at Martinsville.
Question mark.
Watkins Glen.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't care what the series is.
Really?
X. Yeah.
Why?
I would rather go to Road America than Watkins Glen.
Janice, what would you choose, Road America or Watkins Glen?
Road America.
The only reason I choose Watkins Glen is because the Cup Series doesn't run at Road America. I'm hoping that changes.
Okay, Cup Series only.
Watkins Glen.
Thank you. There you go. You lose.
That being said, my wife, if she's listening,
C, none of the above.
if my wife is listening, she's going, Sonoma, wine country.
You know, I do want to get to one of those one day.
Short track, Iowa.
Iowa?
Iowa would be fun.
I don't think anything beats me for Martinsville. That was just a blast.
Yeah, I got you. Back to the news here. Friday morning, Formula One. Second practice for the F1 Grand Prix in Malaysia. Haas F1 team driver Romain Grosjean ran over what Formula One officials termed a loose drain cover.
I hate when that happens.
Whoa. Loose drain cover.
Yeah.
Those things are heavy. How can they just magically pop out of the ground?
Oh, wait, it gets better.
But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more.
Yeah, because of this loose drain cover, Grosjean lost control of his racer and crashed in the high-speed turn 13, bounced across the gravel pit, slammed into a tire barrier, major damage to his car. Grosjean walked away unhurt. The cover is part of the street circuit used for this weekend's race. Reports claim that it was loosened up by the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas and the Ferrari of Kimi Räikkönen going over it before Grosjean got there.
Sabotage.
Yeah, hang on. Grosjean said he didn't note that the cover wasn't in place until too late. Formula One, which usually has a curfew for the teams when it comes to working on their cars after on-track time, did allow the Haas F1 team to work into the night to fix Grosjean's car as long as they were only working on Grosjean's car. Charlie Whiting, who's the Formula One racing director, called an end to the second practice early and had workers concentrating on ensuring that the drain cover would not create problems for qualifying or the race itself. Whiting then met with Grosjean following media interviews. According to Grosjean, Whiting apologized to him for not catching the fact that the drain cover, which is normally welded and bolted into place before the weekend begins.
What was that? Welded and bolted?
And bolted.
Oh. Welded
So
and bolted.
How in the world? This is how much G-force these F1 cars are putting on the track surface.
It had to be a lot of force to break loose a weld and a bolt.
Yeah, unless it was a really bad weld.
Or a really weak bolt.
Or a
both.
really bad weld on a really weak bolt.
Or both.
What are we talking about? The Titanic all of a sudden?
Well, it could be.
Red Bull
Poor
Racing.
engineering.
Yeah, really. Red Bull Racing has announced a new title sponsor of their organization. They partnered with British automaker Aston Martin to officially now become Aston Martin Red Bull Racing.
So we get to say that all the time now?
No.
Oh.
Red Bull and the car maker are working together on the so-called Valkyrie hypercar. So in other words, really, the technology is a one-way street because there's no Aston Martin technology going into Red Bull.
Nope.
It's weird. The two companies are going to pair on building the Advanced Performance Center on the grounds of Red Bull Racing in Milton Keynes, Britain. The two companies working on taking the technology used in Formula One to adapt it to road cars. They do say it will create about 100 jobs. Toro Rosso Racing has announced that they are taking Daniel Kvyat out of this weekend's racing. They're going to give one of their junior drivers a chance to run in an actual race. Pierre Gasly. There's an appropriate name for a racer.
Pierre, suit up.
That's an appropriate name for a racer. Gasly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the old NASCAR driver, Lake Speed.
I remember him.
I mean, come on. Speed is your last name? Come on. That's a great name for a racer. Gasly's going to be given the ride in order to see if there might be interest in getting him a regular seat for 2018. The announcement that puts Gasly in the car replacing Kvyat seemed to suggest this might actually be for multiple races throughout the end of the year.
Last name didn't really work out for Scott Speed too well.
Not really. Not in NASCAR anyway.
No.
He's doing pretty well in the rally car circuit.
Yeah. There he found speed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Statement said of Kvyat that Gasly was being, or that Kvyat was being rested for the next races, whatever that means. Gasly told media when he met him Thursday he'd not been informed about any races other than this weekend's and that he isn't worried about it. Said he's focused on working with his teammate Carlos Sainz this weekend.
I love when he starts before a story that happens.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that you can find this situation when it comes to, or potentially try and drum up some sort of strife when you're talking about the team that is the manufacturer's cup title holder at this point in time.
When you can't beat them on track, you got to beat them in the
mind games.
Yeah, reports are saying that there is maybe some tension between the two Mercedes drivers. Lewis Hamilton, who's attempting to claim his third championship in 4 years, is now claiming that he does not need the help of his teammate Valtteri Bottas, and he doesn't need help through team orders from Mercedes officials either. In Hungary, Bottas had allowed Hamilton to get by him so that Hamilton could try to take on the Ferrari team of Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel, but when he couldn't get around either of them, Hamilton gave the position back to Bottas. Well, Hamilton, for his part, said, quote, "My honest goal is to make sure I'm not in that position again, so it's an easy decision. The team doesn't have to make a decision. I think Valtteri will make his own decisions at whatever point. If he ever feels that he's out of contention, for example, I think he'll make up his own mind, perhaps, with the team." Bottas, for his part, said that now is not that time. Feels as though he's still in contention, and until he feels that he either can't make up ground on Vettel and or Hamilton, he'll continue to race to gain as many points as he can. Didn't say what he might do once he's no longer eligible for the title, if that time ever comes. There's no strife here, folks.
No. Nothing to see here.
This is the problem with
These are not the Troys you're looking for.
This is the problem with misleading headlines in the media.
Yes. Yeah.
Stop trying to grab everybody with some clickbait attention getter headline. Just give me the facts.
9 times out of 10 people don't even read the story anyway. They just read the headline and then comment.
Just fake news. Give me the facts. That's all I want to know. Julian Palmer, who upon arriving in Malaysia got to talking to reporters about his future, says that he knows it's not with Renault in 2018. They've already announced Carlos Sainz is moving over from Toro Rosso to take that seat. Palmer feels as though he might have a chance to grab a seat at Williams next year, but according to other reports, the team is actually favoring other drivers above Palmer right now. Palmer added that should the Williams ride fall through, he's not interested in being some team's third or reserve driver and would go and seek out other forms of racing opportunity. Added, quote, "I want to put everything into it. I have something for the longer term, really. Among the possibilities, seeking out a Verizon IndyCar Series ride." There aren't that many empty seats for 2018 in Verizon IndyCar Series anymore either.
Yeah, pickings are slim.
Yep. Williams, according to motorsport.com, is reportedly down to 3 major possibilities for their open seat. The 3 drivers on the short list said to be the possible return of former F1 driver Robert Kubica. We haven't heard his name in F1 in close to a decade.
It's been a while.
So to think that he's trying to make the comeback is...
Yeah.
But reportedly he's tested pretty well. Keeping their current driver, Felipe Massa, and then there's the reserve driver, Paul di Resta. Kubica, however, even though he has been involved in testing for Williams officials to evaluating, and seems to think that time's running out on that window for a Formula One return. Massa had wanted to retire following the 2016 season, but when Bottas up and flipped over to Mercedes following the unexpected retirement of defending champion Nico Rosberg, Williams asked if Massa would come back for at least 1 more year. He did. We don't know about 2. Di Resta filled in for Massa in 2013 at the Brazilian Grand Prix. He's pushing to become a regular driver in the series. Williams, for their part, says, "We're not really prepared to make a decision at this point in time." They probably won't until, I don't know, 2 weeks before 2018 begins.
No, I was thinking more like the day of.
Well, that could be probably.
I mean, hey, we're going to put it in the
surprise, it's this guy.
Yep.
Fernando Alonso, who seemed prepared to walk away from Formula One racing should McLaren have stuck with Honda for next year, is back with the team as they prepare for the switch to Renault Power for next year, but says that he has to get through 2017, and that is proving to be very frustrating. So frustrating, in fact, that he actually, in the wake of the Singapore Grand Prix and retiring from that race, got so upset about the lack of performance in his ride that he punched a hole in the wall of his private driver's room.
Oh,
rut row.
Oops.
Alonso had seemed to be what could have been a brilliant start. Jumped up to third using the outside of turn 1 in the race, but the collision that we mentioned last week that involved both the Ferrari drivers and Red Bull's Max Verstappen also collected with somewhat less damage. Alonso, I say less damage, he was actually able to drive away from the crash, but the damage forced him to retire the car early. When he watched the replay of the wreck, Alonso realized the opportunity, what it actually had been, got so mad he punched a hole in the wall.
Well, now.
This is not his kind of year.
Nope. No.
NASCAR, we'll see this a lot here over the next few weeks at Talladega. We'll even see it probably tomorrow at Dover.
Yeah,
we'll see a lot of pink on the cars.
Yes, we will.
Because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's why we're talking about Pink and Wing coming up.
Yep.
Formula One's never really been involved in that, but that's going to change this year.
It's about time.
Yep. They've come to terms with the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the world's leading breast cancer awareness organization. When the series runs the U.S. Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas near Austin, Texas, you're going to see a lot of pink on display. It'll take place again during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The activities leading up to the race will include both on- and off-track initiatives. Merchandise on sale will include many of the regular options that you would normally get, also in pink. The money from those items' sales will go straight to the Komen Foundation. As for the cars, where, for example, NASCAR sees many teams putting pink on the racers, none of the Formula One teams have said anything about that, but who is it? Force India, I think it is. They've got that sponsorship with the Swiss water company.
Yeah.
So all their cars are pink already?
Yep. Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah, they're already good. Yep.
I'm going to do this story because you'll mess up this name, and I know it.
Wow.
So we're going to do this story right
Bud.
now. You're welcome. Formula One team bosses are concerned about a resignation in the offices of the Formula One governing body, FIA. His name is Marcin Budkowski. He officially tendered his resignation as the head of their technical department. He's now sitting out a 3-month non-participation clause, or what they call a gardening vacation in Formula One parlance. That said, the concern is the job that he's reported to be taking on after his sidelining is done. Budkowski reportedly has taken on a job with the Renault racing team. And the bosses of other teams in the series are quite upset. They think that he might be taking some of the secrets that he knows about, for example, Ferrari or Mercedes, and try and put them in at Renault. Red Bull boss Christian Horner said, quote, "We take major issue with that if he does end up with another team." Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff and the COO of Force India, Otmar Schnafzauer, it's easy for you to say, agreed with Horner.
Bless you.
Yes, thank you. Each talked about how the teams need to be very open with the FIA about their plans for the current season cars and plans and actions to be taken for the cars that they're working up for the next year. They all expressed trust issues with Budkowski leaving all of that behind at the FIA offices and not using that information at Renault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Budkowski hasn't commented since he tendered his resignation. Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting little story.
Yeah.
It really will. When we come back, Liberty Media is dealing with trying to figure out what they're going to do with the loss of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Well, there's a country in Europe that apparently wants a race. We'll also talk about the Chinese Grand Prix, FIA Formula E stuff as well, and a visit with Renaissance Bank. All of that and more in the last segment of the Championship Racing Network right here on Yay 106.5 and AM 1290.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network.
Choosing a bank is not an easy task. You're trusting your money and your future in the hands of strangers. At Renaissance Bank, you're no stranger. You're part of the family. Renaissance can meet all your banking needs with the tools you need to secure your family's financial future. They even have tools for your kids like student checking. No monthly maintenance fee on a balance of $500 or more, unlimited check writing, and open the account with just $50. Visit a branch today in Childersburg, Chelsea, or Sylacauga for more information. Give your kids the tools to have a prosperous and successful future. Online at RenaissanceBank.com. Renaissance Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffered from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my whole life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
Renaissance Bank in Childersburg and the Championship Racing Network invite you to join them for the Pinko Wing Chili Cook-Off on October 13th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's right, Friday the 13th. For just $5, you get a bowl of chili with all the fixings, chips or crackers, a cookie, and a drink, and add on a candy apple or cotton candy for just $2. Plus so many other activities like a raffle for 2 Sloss's Furnace VIP tickets, plus other giveaways and prizes. All proceeds from the event benefit the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. That's October 13th at Renaissance Bank in Childersburg with support from Radio Alabama.
4 tires and 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network. This show almost over completely. Got a little bit of time left in the show. J&M Tank Line Studios. We're live in those studios, of course, on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290, part of the Radio Alabama family. Online, WYEA.net. Download the Yay 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets, or follow us along on Facebook. When Steve left, we've got one story we're going to get into, and then we're going to be getting into our visit with Janice. So he was talking about Liberty Media. Liberty Media, a little bit upset about the loss of the Malaysian Grand Prix from the F1 calendar following this weekend's race. That leaves something of a hole in the calendar now, and officials in Denmark might be willing to fill it. A group of people backing the idea of a Danish Grand Prix, which I would have no problem with that, are working with government officials and have come up with a preliminary plan for a 2020 race for the series. If approved, it would mark Denmark's first time hosting a Formula One points race. The country has hosted two F1 non-points races in 1961 and 1962. The plan appears to be, to include a race on the streets of the capital city, Copenhagen. And according to motorsport.com, the group seeking to get the race on the calendar is in advanced talks with Formula One officials. If approved and added to the calendar, the proposed circuit would be in the city's center and have the Parliament building as a landmark and would cross over two bridges. The Danish government is said to be backing the project as well, but would like to see more private money backing the effort in order to make it viable. There are, of course, opponents, tree huggers known as the Danish Green Lobby, with other people concerned that the race would shut down the center city for up to a week, causing headaches for those working in the area. So I'm all about Copenhagen. I think it'd be really cool.
It would.
I mean, they've had some non-points races. Get a points race in there. That would be...
Get the green lobby out of the way and go with it.
Yeah, I mean, just run them over. It'd be good.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Green.
Same way with that mess about Belle Isle last week.
Yeah, that whole thing, too. I mean, that was just a mess as well. So, all right, so that's the news. Now we're going to turn around. Well, I'm going to turn around. Now we're going to talk with Janice Gross, who is the branch manager at the Childersburg branch of Renaissance Bank on 8th Avenue Southwest.
Good job.
Welcome into the show.
Thank you.
Officially, this is your first time in.
Yes, it
and
is.
we are, of course, I speak for all of us, but we are just so absolutely ecstatic to have Renaissance Bank on the show with us. It's been great working with y'all. And, of course, we've got this event coming up next month.
Yes, we do. It's a big one.
And so talk about it a little bit. I mean, this was, you all have done this before. Renaissance Bank does this. It's the Pinkoween. I actually was there last year for it while I was at the branch, and some chili and all that stuff. So how did this come about, and how did it get to where we are with it today?
Yeah. Well, we always do a breast cancer awareness fundraiser. This year, we're just really stepping it up quite a few notches. Last year, it was just the chili cook-off where the girls just made their own versions of chili, and we sold the lunches, and we made quite a bit of money. Our customers always enjoy, because we're always having some sort of event going on, and they always enjoy coming in to see what we're doing next. But since we've now partnered with you and CRN and everybody here, we're just...
It went crazy.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I don't even know how to describe it. It's absolutely going crazy. And, yes, my stress level is quite high right now. So for the next 2 weeks, we will be getting everything set up.
Like I tell you in the office when we have our meetings, everything's going to be just like our boss, Mr. Perryman, says, everything will be just fine.
Well, I know.
And this stemmed out of what, like a 10-minute conversation? It was just, hey, it'd be really cool if this happened and that happened. Next thing you know,
it's happening.
It's happening.
I mean, it is. And we actually are looking forward to continuing every year and just growing it each year.
And it's not just been Renaissance Bank. There's been a lot of support from the community at large, from businesses at large. Let's talk about those for just a little bit. I mean, we're going to talk about the event. Let's talk about some of the fine folks that have actually jumped on board. You've had a great time with this because this has given Renaissance Bank a chance to work with more businesses in the area, has it not?
It has, and not just in the Childersburg area. We've got some support from Home Depot, Walmart, Lubell's, in downtown Sylacauga.
Atlanta.
Yeah. So it's absolutely just going crazy. We've got you guys with the Birmingham Zoo tickets, and I mean it's moving all over the place. We even have the possibility of somebody who just opened a business in Chelsea.
Really?
That might be joining us, yes.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard about that one yet.
Yes.
So are you going to save that for me for Tuesday when I come for the meeting?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
she's going to make
and
me wait all week.
I did actually get sign another vendor yesterday.
Really?
That I haven't told you about that. We'll talk more about on Tuesday.
You'll make me wait on that one too?
I am.
That is so mean. Well, you're talking about some of the folks. Let's go down the list. We've got, of course, Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
They've given us some gift cards.
2 gift cards. Mm-hmm.
Walmart's jumped on board. We're going to be at Walmart on the 6th of October. You, myself, and another person who's jumped on board. Main Street Family Urgent Care with Dr. Wags. Hopefully, going to be out there.
Yep,
We're
Courtney.
going to be. Courtney. We're going to be out there passing out some flyers, collecting some donations, talking to everybody because it's going to be a week from that day that the event's going to be going on.
It is. We'll be there from 1 to 3.
From 1 to 3. Okay. See, now I know when I have to be there.
Yes,
That was my next question. I thought she's going to make me wait till Tuesday.
You'll be there at 12:50.
I'll be
Yeah,
there.
12:50.
She tells me 12. That way I'm an hour early.
Yes.
Some of the other great folks we've had, you brought up Lou Bell's Clothing and Accessories
Yes.
in downtown Silicaga.
Yes.
Batter Up, Cater Up right
Yes.
there on 280 in Childersburg.
Old Town Grill.
Old Town Grill jumping on board the other day with some T-shirts and a gift card as well.
Yes, I think they're even going to be participating in the chili cook-off pot.
That's right. Barkley was talking about that the other day.
Yes.
They said they're going to put a pot in. I
Yes.
talked with David McCurley, who of course does sports
Yes.
on our station, talking to him last night.
Love
He's
him.
going to do a pot of
Is he?
chili. Yes,
I know he said he was thinking about it. Okay, that's awesome.
He said, the ladies told me that I could leave my crock pot there
Yes,
and they'd
he
take care of it
can.
for me. And
yes, we
so-
will take care of it, David.
So it's not only going to just be the ladies at the branch, it's going to
No.
be some other folks. This is going to get bigger next year because we've got more plans in the works.
Yes, I've already talked to the mayor of Childersburg and let him know what we're thinking, and he fully supports what we do. So yeah, it's going to grow, but I mean, it's just going to grow. That's
With all
I
the
can
food
say.
there.
It's like that. It's like that baby that you're sitting there, you take care of. All of a sudden, you can't do anything anymore. It's just going to go on its own. That's basically what this is going to turn into.
And we did talk to Russell, and for those that don't like chili, we are going to have hot dogs. So,
Yes.
I did confirm with him that he will take care of the grill for us. So
we do have the Childersburg Fire Department going to be
Yes,
there.
with
So
the fire truck,
we have a
yes.
fire truck, Russell. It's
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but I say we're going to have chili, hot dogs. There's going to be pink candy apples
Yeah.
in general,
Yeah.
cotton candy. So
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be all those kinds of things going on. All the proceeds from this event, from all the sales, from all the food,
Every
from all
bit.
the donors and everything else, and we're going to have all kinds of stuff we're going to talk about here in a minute. A laundry list
Mm-hmm. Yes.
of raffles.
Yes.
Is all going to be going to.
The Breast Cancer Research Foundation in Birmingham.
Okay.
Yes, and we will have representatives from there coming too.
Outstanding.
Cool.
Outstanding.
Very cool.
Now, we've also got some we were talking about raffles, and, so there's going to be gift certificates and all kinds of stuff like that. And Nikki, you've been working closely with Nikki, of course.
Love
you
Nikki,
you
yes.
love Nikki. We love Nikki, too, because she's definitely doing a great job. She has rounded up a ton of stuff from up in her area of the woods up near Maryland and Delaware. So we've got a Scentsy basket that's going to be
Yes.
raffled off, courtesy of Ashley Burney up there. There's also going to be some paparazzi jewelry. There's also going to be 31 bags, which I'm learning about 31 bags, by the way.
They're wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was telling me all about them, and I'm like, I guess I need to learn some more stuff here.
Yes.
But we're going to have some 31 bags, of course. And then there's also another, I didn't realize it, but there's also going to be another gift basket that's got a custom mug and a scarf and all of that she's got put together up there as well.
Wonderful.
So she's got a lot of stuff that's going to be coming down. She's going
Yeah.
to need extra luggage.
Yeah, she is. She might want to just ship it ahead of time. Yes, but
Yeah.
she's gonna definitely need to do that.
So along with all the different raffles, there's all kinds of gift cards. You mentioned the Birmingham Zoo tickets, of course. We're going to have 5 pairs of tickets to raffle off.
Right.
Let's talk about the tickets. They're going to be going on sale tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So tomorrow is the day.
Right.
Now, for everybody out there, and of course, on Facebook and everything that's going to be seeing this, what's the best way that they can get tickets?
They
How
can stop by the Childersburg branch of Renaissance Bank. We can sell tickets. We're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. You can come in, or if you want to just you can send me a message or give me a call if you can't make it until the day of the event. I'll write you down, and you can pay when you get there.
Hey, there you go. That works even better.
Easy enough.
So if you're sitting at work and you're hearing it and you know it's going on, you can just simply message Janice real quick or give a call down there. Say, I want tickets set aside for me. Now, pricing wise, we were talking about $2 a ticket.
$2 a ticket, or you
Or-
can, or 15 tickets for $10.
I mean, you can't beat that.
No, you absolutely can't.
That's a pretty good deal right there.
Yeah, I was about to say. So, and that just means that gives you 15 chances to win one of these awesome raffles that are going to be going off.
Yes. We also have 2 VIP tickets to Sloss Furnace.
Oh, that's right. What was it? No wait.
No wait in line.
So no wait in line to Sloss's
right.
Furnace. See, that's one place that's on my list I need to get to as well.
Oh, it's wonderful. I've been there. It's great.
Have you been there? Matt, have you been there?
Nope.
Oh,
have
my
not.
gosh.
Never
Y'all
have.
have got to go.
We got to do something.
Yeah.
I keep telling everybody I've been stuck in this triangle down here of Sylacauga, Talladega, Homewood. I've just kind of been in there and need to get out and do some other stuff.
Yeah.
For Renaissance. Now, y'all are very community-minded, community-driven. Everybody hears your spots on the radio. Everybody knows what it's like to work with Renaissance Bank. For you going to Renaissance Bank each day and getting a chance to work and being a part of these types of events, what's it like for you? Besides stressful.
Well, it's stressful. I'm not going to lie. It is stressful, but it's also fun.
Right.
The wonderful part about Renaissance and our management team is they fully support what we do. They want us to be out there, getting the name out there, participating, being involved with the community, because that's how you grow. I mean, you do. You support your community.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I can honestly say, and I'm not going to give details as far as how long I've been in this business, but Renaissance has been the best place for me. I've been there 3.5 years, and I don't plan on leaving. And the management letting us do what we want. All I do is tell them what we're doing, and we have their full support. So we do lots of fundraisers. We do a lot of customer appreciation events where people come in and can just eat, and have fun for free, because they're why we're here, our customers. So we're proud to be in downtown historic Childersburg. I mean, we're right there in the middle of it, and it's coming back to life. We're revitalizing it, the whole town, and we've got some really great events that we're working with the city. So
I say we've talked about a couple of them coming up and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
The girls tease me now because I'm hardly in the office anymore because I'm going to so many different meetings and so many different groups that we're involved with. So I'm just having a great time. Yeah, I really am.
And in 2 weeks, your stress level will return to normal.
Yeah, I do want to give a plug though. One of the new businesses that we will have with us that we've partnered with, not just for this event, but for moving forward, is Christmas in the Pines.
Oh, that's right. Yes, they're going to be set up.
They are. They're going to be selling their. They're going to start their pre-sales for their tickets. It's Jim Dennis and Lisa Lee. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And if you haven't heard about Christmas in the Pines, it's a faith-based light show, Christmas light show. It kicks off November 17th. And I think the last count, she said like 1.7 million lights they're going to have.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
But you don't drive through it in your car. It's a hayride. You go
cool.
through the
Yeah, that'll make it cool.
That's when you can do a hayride and go see some Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And now that's living in the South.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff you think of.
And they're going to have lots of vendors. I know they have some surprises planned. I do know. I don't know how much I should say, but they will have some very important. Let's just say some people are going to be on TV tonight at about 8:00.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So they have a lot of events. They have a Facebook page. Look them up, and they have a website. But so yeah, they're going to be there selling their tickets. And we do have some other businesses that are going to be coming in to just promote their business. So
it's all about the community coming together. It's about the community on itself as well as the businesses, and it's great to see the support going back and forth, especially for this event for Renaissance, because I mean this is going to be a stepping stone forward for a major thing that's going to be happening in Childersburg each and every year. And we are so proud to be a part of it. We love getting the chance to help out and love having Renaissance, of course, as a sponsor on the show. It's been a wonderful relationship so far, and we look forward to having more. But remember, that's October 13th. October 13th from 9 to 4 at Renaissance Bank at the Childersburg branch on 8th Avenue Southwest.
Very good.
Look, twice in a row. You see that? So make sure y'all are checking that out. Make sure everybody's good to go and getting the tickets and getting yourself situated and everything else, because it's going to definitely be one heck of an event. We got to wrap things up. But before we go, we're going to give you a chance because Matt and I usually make a pick for the week for the race. I think we can pretty much know what you're going to go with. So who are you choosing for Dover win tomorrow?
Ladies first.
Kyle Larson,
Kyle
all the way. All the way.
Harmer, you're up.
I'm up. I'm actually going to stick with somebody a little different this week. I'm going to go with the likes of Mark Truex Jr., hometown boy, hometown track type thing, and he's on the pole, a lot of speed. I got Larson for my overall win for the year, but I think Mark Truex Jr. is going to be his time to shine.
This is going to pain me to say this.
If you say the two words I think you're about to say, we're not going to be friends anymore.
What?
No, I don't know. Go ahead. Because we've got a little bit of time. No, it's not going to hurt, but it's okay.
This is going to hurt.
I know who he's going to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who am I going to say?
Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch. No?
Nope.
Who you going with? Jimmy
Johnson.
It is Dover.
Johnson.
Okay. Well, there we go. We've fixed Matt. So.
Sorry, America. I failed you.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap things up this week. Wow, that just went really bad. Big thanks to Renaissance Bank for being a wonderful sponsor of this show. Thanks to Janice for coming in and talking about the event. We're looking forward to that. We're going to keep you posted on that as well as Camp Creek Auto and Truck. Make sure you check them out as well. If you're looking for, you need to get some service done, give them a call, 205-640-1558. And if you want to get in touch with Renaissance Bank, simply go to renaissancebank.com or stop down to see Janice, Russell, and all the gals down there on 8th Avenue Southwest in Childersburg, and make Renaissance Bank your new choice. We'll talk to you all next week, same time, same place, same channel, right here on the Championship Racing Network. Have a great weekend.
See ya.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Renaissance Bank in Childersburg and the Championship Racing Network invite you to join them for the Pinko Wing Chili Cook-Off on October 13th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's right, Friday the 13th. For just $5, you get a bowl of chili with all the fixings, chips or crackers, a cookie, and a drink, and add on a candy apple or cotton candy for just $2. Plus so many other activities like a raffle for 2 Sloss's Furnace VIP tickets, plus other giveaways and prizes. All proceeds from the event benefit the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. That's October 13th at Renaissance Bank in Childersburg with support from Radio Alabama.